Welcome to the NDE Nutrition Services School Nutrition Program Training. In this section, we'll take a look at the preschool meals under the National School Lunch Program. We'll focus on specific requirements and options available when serving meals to preschool-age children in schools that participate in the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program. Preschoolers have different nutritional needs compared to K-12 students, and schools have the option to follow either the NSLP meal pattern or the Child and Adult Care Food Program, or CACFP meal pattern, depending on how the school program is operated. We'll talk through the criteria that determine which pattern applies and how to ensure compliance. Our goal is to help you confidently serve nutritious, age-appropriate meals that support healthy development while meeting USDA program requirements. Whether you're new to preschool meals or need a refresher, this slide shows a side-by-side preview of the two different meal patterns that may be used when serving preschool-age children in the USDA school meals programs: the NSLP meal pattern and the CACFP meal pattern. These handouts, snippets of which you see here, outline the required food components, portion sizes, and other specific guidelines for each program. Both patterns are developmentally appropriate for young children, but they are not the same, and it is important to use the correct one based on how your school program operates. We'll walk through the differences between the two, and then we'll cover criteria that determines which pattern you should be following. Under the NSLP meal pattern, portion sizes are based on the child's grade level, specifically grades K-5. The CACFP meal pattern bases portion sizes on the child's age group, specific categories for ages 1 through 2 and 3 through 5. No matter which meal pattern is being followed, you must maintain production records and label information to document that meals meet meal pattern requirements. This includes keeping documentation for items like whole grain rich products, CN label items, and standardized recipes. One important distinction: offer versus serve is not allowed when following the CACFP meal pattern. All required components must be served in the minimum required amounts. However, if you're using CACFP, you do have the option to implement family-style meal service, a great way to support development, self-help skills, and encourage children to try new foods in a positive social setting. So how do you know which meal pattern to follow for preschool students? It all comes down to where and when the enrolled preschoolers are eating, and whether they are commingled with other grade levels. You may use the School Breakfast Program and National School Lunch Program meal pattern when preschoolers are served in the cafeteria at the same time and alongside K-5 students. This is called commingled meal service. On the other hand, if preschoolers are not commingled, for example, they are eating in the classroom or they eat in the cafeteria at a separate time from older students, then you must follow the CACFP meal pattern. Examples of commingled students: a pre-K class eats lunch in the cafeteria at 11:30 alongside a kindergarten class. Preschool students go through the same serving line as other students and eat nearby tables. A single cafeteria staff serves all students using the same setup and meal service time. Examples of not commingled: preschoolers eat in the classroom separate from K-5 students. Preschoolers eat in the cafeteria but at 10:45 a.m. and older students eat at 11:30 a.m. so the age group does not overlap. Meals are delivered to the preschool classroom in bulk or pre-plated, or the preschool is located in a separate building or wing where no interaction with the main cafeteria. Important reminders: just being in the same building does not count as commingled, and the same menu doesn't mean commingled either. What matters is the physical presence at the time of service. Ask yourself, are the preschoolers eating in the same place at the same time with the same meal service as older students? If yes, the NSLP meal pattern may be used. If not, the CACFP meal pattern is required. This chart shows a side-by-side comparison of the key differences between the NSLP meal pattern used when preschoolers are commingled and the CACFP meal pattern, which is required when preschoolers are not commingled. Let's break it down by component. Milk under NSLP, a variety of milk types must be offered, skim or 1%, and flavored milk is allowed. In CACFP, milk must be unflavored only and must either be skim or 1% for children ages 2 through 5. Grain-based desserts under NSLP are allowed, limited up to 2-ounce equivalent per week. CACFP does not allow any grain-based desserts to credit towards the grain component. Refer to the CACFP grain chart for specific grains and additional grain guidance. Both programs allow 100% fruit juice, but with limits. In NSLP, it can count for up to half of the weekly fruit or vegetable requirement. CACFP is more restrictive. Juice is allowed only once per day, regardless of the meal or snack. CACFP includes specific sugar limits for both breakfast cereals and yogurts. This ensures preschoolers are getting low sugar options more aligned with their developmental needs. Offer versus serve is allowed under NSLP for preschoolers who are commingled with older students, but offer versus serve is not allowed under CACFP. All required components must be served in full. Understanding these key differences will help ensure your menu planning, purchasing, and production process match the correct meal pattern for your preschool setting. Water is a required part of the meal environment for preschoolers regardless of which meal pattern you're using. Plain drinking water must be available to students at no charge wherever meals are served, including classrooms and cafeterias. This means that during breakfast, lunch, or snack service, students must have easy access to water, whether or not they request it. Water does not need to be served on the tray, but it must be visible, accessible, and offered freely. Don't forget cups. Cups must be made available to allow students to serve themselves water if provided in a pitcher, dispenser, or cooler. Simply putting out a water source without cups does not meet the requirement. When preschoolers eat meals in the classroom and are not commingled with older students, we talked about using the CACFP meal pattern. A crucial part of the CACFP meal pattern, meal service, is the point of service, or often referred to as the POS. This means meal counts must be taken as each child receives their meal, only during the meal service time. The point of service cannot be done ahead of time in the morning or any other time outside the actual meal service time. This ensures accurate meal counts and proper claiming. If meals are delivered to the classroom, the delivery ticket should be sent to the classroom and completed by the meal service staff at the point when the meals are served. However, if preschoolers go through the line in the cafeteria, pick up their trays before going to the classroom, a delivery ticket is not needed since the point of service happens in the classroom. Family-style dining is encouraged to support children's development and social skills, but meals may also be served pre-plated or pre-portioned as long as portion sizes meet the CACFP meal requirements. These procedures help ensure compliance and create a positive mealtime experience. It is important to understand that morning and afternoon snacks served during the school day cannot be claimed for reimbursement under the USDA School Meals Program. These snacks are considered non-program snacks, meaning they are not served through a USDA child nutrition program such as NSLP or CACFP. Because of this, the cost of these snacks must be covered by the school's general fund or other non-federal sources. Federal meal reimbursement dollars cannot be used to pay for the non-program snacks. Properly accounting for and budgeting these expenses helps maintain program integrity and ensures federal funds are used appropriately. If your school chooses to provide snacks outside of the USDA program, Be sure to identify and track funding sources accordingly through a billing. To wrap up, let's do a recap on some key takeaways for preschool meals. There are two preschool meal patterns, NSLP meal pattern and the CACFP meal pattern. Which one you use depends primarily on whether preschoolers eat commingled with older students or separately. Program requirements include maintaining accurate production records and label documentation. Family-style meal service is encouraged under CACFP. For snacks served outside the USDA meal program, costs must be covered by non-federal funds, such as the general fund. And finally, we talked about the point-of-service meal counting for compliance, especially when meals are served in the classroom. Following these guidelines helps ensure preschoolers receive healthy, age-appropriate meals while maintaining program integrity and compliance. You can refer to the provided handouts and resources for detailed information, and don't hesitate to reach out with additional questions.